to the commander-in-chief.
I was thinking more of a particular finger. I really was, and it's embarrassing. It's like, wait a minute, when Senator Mark Begich was mayor, George Bush came here. I know this is shocking. I wasn't a big Bush fan, but I don't think, Mark Begich went and greeted him.
And he also greeted Dick Cheney when he came. Not a lot of people went out.
Darth Cheney was here.
And he greeted whoever came through because it's the right thing to do.
Because he at the time was the mayor and he represented the city, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, not the independents, but the city, and to really have some respect for the office on that. And I didn't think, oh God, he loves George Bush, they're gonna be spooning Brokeback Mountain somewhere. I didn't think that. I mean, it's okay to go and greet the president. It's not like, you gotta make out. Just shake his hand. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. You've shook the hand of the president.
I wouldn't be opposed to making out with him, but that's
Does this show have a rating? PG-13. It's PG-13 now. It's heading to R.
Sorry. You say it like it's a bad thing. Yeah. Come on. I mean, but looking at this and the behavior, and I'm going to be really sort of partisan on this. Shocking.
Are you okay? I'm on your show.
Be all right?
I'm just fine.
Julie, will you hold his hand?
I didn't know this was The View, but that's okay.
Right. Oh my God. No, I mean, the Republicans are really badly behaved here. And maybe it's because we don't have enough Democrats in office to really act out and be jerks. But I mean, we had Assemblyman Starr call it Assemblyman Selcraig. What do you call it? A socialist, communist.
No, communist.
Oh, a communist, right. Yeah. And what she should have said, instead of, wow, this is awkward, was, what she should have said was, could you define that for me?
Right.
And do you take your permanent fund check? I'm seeing like really nasty behavior, and it's like I don't know if they're in the last throes or they're getting ready to take over. Bill Walker, you're getting ready to take over. You're in on these meetings.
We just need a gas line. People just start behaving a little better. They just treat each other a little better. They're all frustrated.
What are you putting in that gas?
Because there's no gas line. They're all frustrated about this. They just, when are we get, we're paying high energy bills. No, seriously. Back to your question. Yeah, it's disappointing. We're Alaskans, and at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and I just don't get too tangled up in I mean, I just can't believe that people aren't, respecting the office of the president. I mean, I was stunned. When I walked in here tonight and heard that discussion, I said, "You've got to be kidding." The governor, our governor, is not going to be meeting with the president of the United States when he comes through with the issues that we have, that we have facing our state. And the number of times that we go and would do what to get in front of him in Washington D.C. He comes to our state. I thought. I mean, I didn't know. And I know you have a sense of humor, Shannyn. I didn't think you were joking about that. And so that's shameful.
No, and it's really hard for us to go and say we need federal funds to help, or to go to Mark Begich when he's there, or Lisa Murkowski or Don Young, and say, look, we really need some more money here as a state. Could you guys try to get us some to deal with substance abuse, alcoholism, the sex abuse rates, Shishmaraf's like out to sea. I mean, all of these different issues that we have that we send people back from the state and to ask for more money. And then they're like, yeah, that would be really easy because, well, you didn't even show up to say hello to them yourself.
And that's sort of what happened during the stimulus discussion and the stimulus vote, and when Sarah Palin didn't want to accept the stimulus money, there were people in the Senate saying to Senator Begich, so you guys don't really need federal money up there, right? These appropriations you're asking for, you must not really need them because your governor is turning away money. It has an impact.
I mean, did he just say, she's guano crazy? She just is.
I don't think that's what he said.
Well, I'm sure he didn't say that, but at some point you just have to say, well, they're wrong. She's wrong. She's
he advocated, a quitter. He voted for it, and ultimately the legislature overrode, and we got the money.
Right. Which is yet there were people outside the Egan Center where the legislature was meeting, holding up signs, "Don't accept the money," and "Stop socialism now." But of course, they're also huge fans of Senator Ted Stevens while he was bringing billions of dollars home every year for projects. But it was all of a sudden not okay to accept it.
Right. That was kosher pork. Or something. You know what I mean? It's like, how are they, where's their math? And I saw them there that day too, and I was just like, what? I mean, and there was a great picture someone took of them standing there with like Stop Socialism and all this, and it had all these arrows to like paid for lights, you know, the traffic lights, and then the sign, and then the curbs paid for by this, and like all of these different things all around them that they would have had no place to stand without. And that's part of, like, I think what's made this country great is coming together, pooling our resources, and trying to make everyone's life better. And I don't know what you call that. Maybe just being American.
Being American, I think. Yeah.
On the gas line, can I ask a question? Do I really have to worry this winter about brownouts and blackouts in Anchorage? I mean, we live in the richest state,
sounds like
in the
something,
richest country in the world, and I have to turn my heat down and put my water heater on vacation.
We already did.
I'm nervous.
We already did a practice on that.
I didn't practice.
I was like brownouts.
I wasn't home. I didn't practice, but
Blackouts.
I'm not a big gas line
That's a
expert, but I'm
Depends commercial.
wondering.
That's not like a way of life at 10 below.
Anyway,
Here's the irony of that, and Julie, I went to a panel discussion the other day at the Chamber of Commerce, put it on the State Chamber, and they had a group of panelists from NSTAR and Chugach and the mayor and from the state and whatnot. And I looked at that whole discussion, and I reflected back that 32 years ago, I went with a group of Alaskans on the All-Alaska Line effort, of All-Alaska Line to Valdez, LNG to California. We went and met with Governor Brown in California. And the signs we were carrying that we had, it's talked about All-Alaska Line and said, if you try to go through Canada, it won't happen, and you, California, will freeze in the dark. Well, now, 32 years later, because of shale gas, they're washing gas in the lower 48, exporting it, and we're freezing in the dark because we have to figure out how to get our gas from Prudhoe Bay to Alaska.
and it's a lot colder here.
Absolutely. So I think it's right. I mean, they all said, you know, it's unlikely to happen, you know, but when it does happen, it's catastrophic. I mean, it's unlikely that a tanker would have run into the state of Alaska. It did, and it's catastrophic. The chance of it happening are very small. So, you know, what I've heard from Tony Izzo and others is that, you know, if there's an interruption, they lose pressure, it can be weeks before they can get the pressure back up again. So, say it, and it would, of course, it would only happen when it's 20 below.
Right.
And so then, you know, a couple of weeks without a heat at 20 below, you know, he's pretty straightforward about that. So it's a serious issue.
So why didn't you guys like do it 30 years ago? Oh wait, you tried. I'm totally teasing you. I'm teasing you, Bill, because I know you have worked on this.
What haven't we done? It's
so
now
hard.
The law. The voters of Alaska in 2002, 62% of them voted for an all-Alaska line. It's statute 41-41010. I can recite it backwards in my sleep.
We bet you can.
And I don't want, but they have said it. But we've just never followed the law. The law is there. It was put on 132,000 voters of Alaska said, we want an all-Alaska line. We want the state to do it and take control of this thing. What do we have? We've got a GIA, which basically you sit there and wait for the phone to ring and see if it works for for 4 companies.
It's like a fat girl waiting for a date. And then when you finally get the call, you're so grateful. You're so grateful that TransCanada finally called that you're like, oh, really? I'll buy dinner. $500 million worth of dinner. Oh my gosh. And you were so grateful. And it is backwards. It really, I mean,
it is.
Come on, Alaska.
It is.
We're hotties.
It's because we have transferred the control. We've given the control. We said, we can't drive anymore. You guys, here's the keys. You drive and tell us when we get there. That's basically what we've done with our future. And we said, and then we made the rules so that, and if we actually try to grab for the wheel and try maybe take control, we'll pay you 3 times treble damages. Our rules, not theirs. I can't get mad at TransCanada. I'm not mad at TransCanada. I'm frustrated that at the process that we have voted into place that have tied our hands behind our back in such a way that we sit back and wait until it's good for everybody else. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is going to the market with their gas in the way of LNG, doing what we should be doing ourselves. So,
and we've been hearing, like, if you listen to the people on right-wing radio that are running for oil company, you know, sort of employee of the year positions, and they're saying, well, you know, Alaska's closed for business. Alaska's so closed for, they're going to pack up and they're going to leave. And, you know, ConocoPhillips just came out and said that 12% of their holdings are in Alaska, yet 29% of their profits are from Alaska.
41% of the profits from Alaska.
It's 41%.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that sound like they're going to leave?
Thinking not.
No.
Well, and then this week there was an article in the paper that talked about how there's more employees working in the oil field now than there was a year ago. I mean, so it's contradictory to
They're
what
not ramping down.
No,
it's just sort of this fear mongering. So ACES actually is doing the job. it was designed to do to a certain extent, but we're looking at AGEA and it's, I mean, we're looking failure right up the backside.
Oh, everybody that has spoken
Speaking of
about AGEA,
brownouts.
everybody has spoken